learning more about what types of documents former President Trump may have been holding at his Florida estate and why the FBI is so concerned. Plus, why New York health officials now say a recent polio case in the state is just the tip of the iceberg. You're watching News 3 Now at noon. Good afternoon, I'm Mark Kane. New at noon, traffic was delayed on the interstate near Highway 51 just before 11 o'clock this morning after a pickup truck caught fire and exploded. Fire crews arrived after receiving reports that a truck crashed into the median while driving northbound on I-39-90-94. Emergency crews were quickly able to put out the fire. It's unclear whether anyone was hurt in the incident. You can follow along as we learn more on channel3000.com. A federal judge in Florida set an afternoon deadline for the Justice Department to advise whether former President Trump's attorneys have any objections to releasing the search warrant for his Mar-a-Lago estate. Skylar Henry has the latest.
Documents related to the FBI search of former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home could soon be revealed after he called for their immediate release in a late-night social media post.
Copies of both the warrant and the FBI property receipt were provided on the day of the search to the former president's counsel, who was on site during the search.
Attorney General Merrick Garland says the DOJ filed a motion in the courts Thursday to make the documents public.
The real story will be with the release of the affidavit itself, which is not currently planned to be released. It is filed under seal.
The Washington Post is reporting that documents related to nuclear weapons were among the items FBI agents were searching for Monday.
Have you spoken to the president about it?
I have not specifically spoken to the president about what nuclear materials may or may not have been in there. I do not believe there were any in there.
This morning, former President Trump called the report a hoax and then questioned whether agents were planting information during the search. Many Republicans have followed the former president's lead in criticizing the FBI search and are calling for Attorney General Garland to come to Capitol Hill and answer questions as to why he authorized the search.
The FBI raid of President Trump is a complete abuse and overreach of its authority.
The FBI search at Mar-a-Lago has sparked a wave of violent threats against the Justice Department and the FBI. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And analysts monitoring online threats say recent threats range from attacks on the FBI and calls for Trump supporters to take up arms against the government. However, they say at this point, the volume of the rhetoric has not reached the same level as what was seen in the days leading up to the January 6th riots. The search for former president's estate has angered many of his supporters. That includes an armed man who tried to force his way into an FBI office in Ohio. The suspect has been identified as Ricky Schiffer. Authorities say that he was wearing body armor and was armed with a nail gun and a long gun when he tried to breach the FBI's visitor center in Cincinnati yesterday. Agents confronted the suspect before he fled, leading them on a car chase. Schiffer eventually got out of the vehicle and exchanged gunfire with agents. After an hours-long standoff, he was shot and killed. Investigators found social media posts believed to be linked to the suspect, encouraging others to kill federal agents. Let's head to the weather center now. Julian Seawright has a look at your certified most accurate forecasts. Some clouds out there, but no real rain.
Well, the rain is just into the upper atmosphere and is drying out before it can even hit the ground for us. So we are seeing some rain somewhere, just, not on the ground. So as we take a look at what we're seeing this afternoon, it's going to be cloudy from now until pretty much tonight. We're looking at 66 degrees. Those 60s will stick around. Start to see some showers developing. Those may hit the ground, but it's still a good chance that they will evaporate before they hit the ground as well, because we're still dealing with an air mass that's really dry on the surface and mid-levels of the atmosphere. Taking a look at temperatures in southern Wisconsin, though, 66 in Madison with 68 in Janesville, 60 degrees in Platteville. So the cooler air is really where that rain is, just to the west as of right now. And our dew points are a little higher over there as well, but overall, it's rather comfortable and low, which also goes to just picture out the fact that we are rather dry typically around this time of year in terms of supporting some widespread rainfall. But this is where we're seeing at least the rain falling for us, stretching all the way from northern Wisconsin into southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois. And again, not all of it is hitting the ground, but at this current track, as it continues to push a bit east, we are looking for areas like Whitewater, Oconomowoc, Waukesha, and Milwaukee to start to see some of this rain by the end of the show if it continues to track this way. But here's the rain vision. This, again, kind of just paints a picture of how much of this rain is actually hitting the ground. Just outside of Dane County near Sauk County, we are looking at about an inch or a tenth of an inch of rainfall. Again, just not a whole lot of it is really touching the ground for us. Still could see some showers, but we have our weekend, which could bring in a chance of some storms and a bit of warmth on Saturday. We'll talk more about this in just a few moments, Mark. So then let's go ahead and toss it back to you.
Yeah, the radar's impressive, but not much in the ground.
Exactly.
All right, Julian, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. Madison police are still working to identify a second suspect in a sexual assault that happened on State Street last month. Today, they released these photos of that suspect. Officers are asking for the public's help in identifying the man. Police say the victim was waiting for a rideshare when he and 22-year-old Ivan Smart, who has been arrested, groped the woman. Anyone with information asked to call Crime Stoppers 608-266-6014. Police are also asking for your help in identifying this man. This is a surveillance photo from a East Side apartment building where the man was seen pulling multiple envelopes out of a mail slot. Building management says several rent checks were stolen. If you know who this is or saw him on North Thompson Drive last week, you should call Madison Area Crime Stoppers. That number again, 608-266-6014. Happening tomorrow, the Dane County Sheriff's Office is hosting a gun buyback event at the Alliant Energy Center. Those who return their firearms, anything from a BB gun to an assault-style rifle, will receive a gift card from the Sheriff's Office. Prices of the gift cards are up on your screen there. The event runs tomorrow from 10 to 2. A silent spread of the polio virus in New York is prompting the CDC to consider additional vaccinations for some people. The virus has been detected in wastewater samples in New York City and 2 counties that neighbor the city. In late July, 1 case of polio was confirmed in Rockland County in a patient who was unvaccinated. That young adult started experiencing weakness and paralysis about a month earlier. Polio vaccination rates in Rockland County and neighboring Orange County, just north of New York City, are about 60%. Compared with 93% nationwide.
Finding polio in a country where we've had high levels of vaccination, haven't seen polio cases for over 40 years, is significant. This is just the tip of the iceberg, right? The very, very tip of the iceberg.
The CDC is considering whether to offer children in the area affected an extra shot of the polio vaccine. Recommending extra doses to certain groups of adults also an option. Polio can cause incurable paralysis and death, but most people in the U.S. are protected thanks to vaccination. The majority of people with polio don't have symptoms, so they can spread the virus without even knowing it. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon, why Johnson & Johnson is discontinuing some of its products worldwide. Details after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon.
Whether you have a design emergency or you just want to shop the best furniture showroom in town, you need Dwellings, Madison's best kept secret for design and furniture. Shop our fabulous showroom, Hard Rock Road, Fitchburg.
Is your home just as hot inside as it is outside? The problem might be your walls have no insulation or ineffective builder's grade insulation letting all that heat in. But when USA Insulation wraps your home in our premium injection foam, we turn your home into a cooler, keeping the heat outside and your cool, comfortable air inside, right where it belongs, and helping you save on rising electric bills. And right now, when we foam your walls, we'll insulate your attic for free.
USA Insulation.
I'm Tim Michaels. I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman who helped build a great Wisconsin company and created thousands of jobs. Tony Evers, Joe Biden, they're 2 peas in a pod. Both career politicians in way over their head, failing the country and the state of Wisconsin. That's why I'm running. We need to have strong, proven executive leadership in Madison that can get things done and make this state as great as it can be.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. CRESS Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten. Making it personal. It's how you heal. We are CRESS. We truly believe your memories matter.
With Choice Hotels, there's always a reason to book it. Whatever your reason, Save up to 20% when you book over 7,100 locations at choicehotels.com.
Those brave men and women of our armed forces, generations of them. Why should today's burdens fall back onto them? They were there for us. Now let's be there for them. Your local Wisconsin energy providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund are working together to deliver Wisconsin veterans in crisis heat, power, and help staying in their home. But they can't do it alone. Donate today.
Johnson & Johnson says it will discontinue its talc-based baby powder worldwide. It comes about 2 years after doing so here in North America. The pharma giant faces nearly 40,000 lawsuits claiming that talc powder caused illness, including cancer, because of asbestos contamination, which is a known carcinogen. In a statement, J&J says it stands behind decades of independent scientific analysis confirming its talc baby powder is safe, does not contain asbestos, and does not cause cancer. Driving off with that shiny new car is likely to cost more than ever. Auto research company Kelley Blue Book says the average price Americans paid for a new vehicle in July hit a record of more than $48,000. Unusually high demand and low inventories are driving new car prices higher. And once you buy a car, the expenses keep mounting. AAA says owning a vehicle typically costs close to $900 a year, up from just over $800 in 2021. And the U.S. Postal Service is increasing rates for holiday shipping beginning in October. First-class packages will get a surcharge between 30 cents and $5.85, depending on the weight and distance. That is your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Matt Piper.
Let's check Wall Street afternoon hour. The Dow Industrials up 266 points. The NASDAQ up 164. The S&P 500 up 42. Our call for action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You're taking a live look at the call for action studio. Volunteers are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can call right now for action 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. Next at noon, Pam Yankee is back with your egg numbers. We'll see how a New England distillery is making a unique whiskey. Plus, Julian has our latest weekend forecast when we come back.
Save big on throwback sale at Wisconsin's #1 mattress retailer, Ashley. Get an Ashley Sleep Twin mattress starting at $169. Save $1,000 instantly on Serta Cozy Escape Sleeper Pillow Top. Guaranteed delivery in 5 days or less on in-stock mattresses. Shop now at Ashley.
Hey, we're here at the local farmers market where Informed Choice Insurance Agency is offering fresh, hand-picked local Medicare. What do you mean when you say shop local for Medicare?
A lot of Medicare health plans have benefits that are specific to your county. So why would you call a national 1-800 number when your local Medicare plans have all the bells and whistles the national TV ads promise, only better?
Don't be fooled by national TV hype. When it comes to your Medicare options, keep it local with Informed Choice Insurance Agency, and their services are free.
I love this state. Knock on any door in any county, and you'll find good-hearted, hard-working folks. People whose businesses I proudly helped as Lieutenant Governor. Hard work needs to be respected again, with fair wages and opportunities to get ahead. That's how my parents opened doors for me. My mom was a teacher and my dad worked third shift. I'm not one of these millionaires. I work just as hard for you as you work for your family. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
A trucking accident can be devastating and complex. Gingras, Thompson & Walk's law firm wants you to be informed. From the freight and trucking companies to the owner-operators, the liability can be unclear. Too many victims settle without understanding their rights. You need a law team like GTW, who has a history of winning cases with large settlements for victims, to investigate and advocate for you. Contact GTW lawyers for a free consultation. All in to win. Gingras, Thompson & Walks.
Wisconsin, save big on throwback sale happening now at Ashley. Save up to 58% off doorbusters while they last. Plus special financing for 5 years. Shop now to see our lowest prices in store at Ashley.
Back to school is not what it used to be.
There are new safety concerns, new protocols, and lots of questions.
We can help you navigate some of those hurdles with our Back to School series.
Join us every morning starting at 6:30 a.m. only on News 3 Now this morning.
It's go time, people. We all have a story to tell. So let's come together, laugh out loud, to share some hope and joy, all on my new show.
Weekdays on WISC-TV starting September 12th. The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report, back from the State Fair. I hope you brought me something on a stick.
Well, there was plenty of offerings on a stick, that is for sure, buddy. And I'll tell you what, I'm just glad to be standing still for a second. It's been a whirlwind week. Thought I'd share a couple pictures from all the activities that we've been engaged in this week. In case you weren't following along, Fabulous Farm Babe on Facebook, take a look. We'll start earlier this week. On Tuesday, we had a lot of different activities that were going on at the State Fair. Tuesday evening was the 4-H Foundation's Meat Products Auction. Louis Finer's Meat up in far northern Wisconsin was the grand champion with bacon that brought $5,500, all to benefit Wisconsin 4-HUC Governor Evers made an appearance, as well as Wisconsin Ag Secretary Randy Romanski, all the rest of the royalty. Got to thank my friends with the Wisconsin Ag Tourism Association. They surprised me while I was at State Fair with a special gift as a supporter of ag tourism. Sheila Everhart, the executive director, reminding people that they are going to get real busy coming up in September. Apple orchards, the hay mazes, all those kinds of things that are coming up. So thank you very much for that. Then we also had our Century Sesquicentennial Farm Celebration. About 450 people in the audience. It was jam-packed full. Everybody had a great story about the farms, how they kept it in the family, what's happening moving forward. Just a wonderful day as far as talking with those folks about their farm history and where they're going. A lot of family stories that were there. And like I said, that's a big crowd, 450. If we get much bigger, we're going to have to get a second tent going. And that young lady right there, she's in a nursing home in Middleton, but she's a Marquette County farm owner. She turned 101 years old, and I'll tell you what, sharp as a tack, celebrating with her family their, I believe it was sesquicentennial farm celebration for their farm that they owned up in Marquette County. So I just love it. Markets today in Chicago are basically all about what's going on with USDA crop report that was out at 11 a.m. this morning. They cut the expectations on our corn yields, but basically saw everything else gaining acres and bushel. So corn's the only thing that's up. Wheat, soybeans, dairy, everything else is down. And one final shout out to the Crave Brothers cheesemakers out in Waterloo. They were presented the Grandmaster Cheesemaker title at the Wisconsin State Fair yesterday afternoon. Speaking of cheese, barrel cheese down $4, $1.88 3/4. 40-pound block cheese up a half at $1.84 1/2. Double A butter dropped 4 cents on a Friday to $2.93 1/2. Now that's getting 10 pounds in a 5-pound sack right there, boy.
Take a breath. Have a good weekend.
All right, see you later.
All right, thanks, Pam. A New England distillery is harvesting an invasive crab species for a new kind of whiskey. At least Preston has more.
So we start with a good sniff.
At Townward Distilling in Mercantile, Will Robinson is introducing visitors to his small batch, handcrafted whiskey infused with flavors from the ocean.
And what am I tasting?
You get the whiskey and then you get the...
Now
once you swallow it and you get it down, you get kind of some of the butteriness of the meat.
The meat comes from European green crabs, harvested along the New Hampshire coastline. The first batch of Robinson's Crab Trapper whiskey sold out shortly after hitting distillery shelves.
What has the response been like?
Insane.
The unusual whiskey crab pairing isn't just about flavor. Robinson is helping control the green crab population.
Their sheer numbers are kind of throwing things off, not leaving enough food for in one place in the ecosystem, and then just wreaking havoc in other ways.
The European green crab arrived on the East Coast about 200 years ago after hitchhiking on boats from overseas. Recent warming sea temperatures have caused the population to increase dramatically, and it's now one of the most invasive species in the U.S., threatening communities of oysters, clams, and mussels.
We don't get the really long, cold winters anymore, and so they can start mating and reproducing and doing all what they need to do
earlier and longer.
Gabriella Brandt with the New Hampshire Sea Grant says green crabs are tough to eat because they have a very hard shell and very little meat. She's working to find a way to identify when the green crab is about to shed its hard shell. A new soft shell means the whole crab can be eaten.
You know, get people a taste of a really good seafood product. We do a pretty good job eating eating down populations.
They're already on menus in New England and now in a whiskey.
It's an experience that brings about environmental awareness.
Awareness Robinson hopes will push others to deal with invasive species across the country. Elise Preston, CBS News, Tamworth, New Hampshire.
And there are also trials underway to turn the crabs into other products, including pet food and fertilizer, to help scientists control the growing population of the invasive species on the West Coast. Julian, what do you think? You want a little crab whiskey?
I think I'm passing that one. I'm good with that. But as we go ahead and dive into our weather, taking a look outside here in Madison, we can see that overcast and just a bit of some drizzle is starting to form in itself. So we could start to see a little bit of rain starting to hit the ground, but it's just going to be some showers. We're not looking for too much in terms of a washout throughout the rest of our afternoon. So you may want to keep the rain gear nearby, but you won't necessarily need it for the rest of the entirety of the day. We're going to be seeing on and off showers throughout our early to late morning or afternoon hours, but by the time we get into tonight, well, things will start to fizzle out until we see another round, which is going to be impacting the eastern side of southern Wisconsin for us. But as of right now, we can see just kind of where the dry air is. It's really just in that divide split right through Wisconsin in itself. We can see the rain is continuing to start to track itself east and is going to hit these areas within about the next 20 minutes or so, but also could once again dry out because of how dry this surface area from the low to mid-level areas are as of right now. So here's a look at our rain vision over the last hour in itself. We've been seeing rain just west of Dane County really start to continue to at least appear on our radar to be impressive, but overall it's only been about 1/10 of an inch so far because a lot of that rain just hasn't been hitting the ground. It's been evaporating before then, and that's going to be the continued theme throughout the rest of our early afternoon to our mid-afternoon hours for us. Even around 2 o'clock, we're going to start to see a bit more of that rain trying to push itself a bit more east, but again, could start to fizzle out or even not even hit the ground. So some areas could see an isolated thunderstorm, mainly north of Dane County, but overall, today's not going to be much in terms of impressive rain day at all. Now, as we get into around the 5 p.m. commute, still could see a couple of isolated showers around Dane County, outside the Dells and areas just near Juneau and Watertown. But overall, even areas to the south from Crawford and Grant County over towards Rock and Greene County. We're not looking at much in terms of rain, but we are looking for another round of pop-up showers by the time we get into tonight. But again, it's mainly going to be into the eastern side, just outside of Juneau, Waukesha, and Fond du Lac is where we could be seeing some of those showers starting to develop. And then going into our Saturday morning, could potentially see some storms starting to fire off just outside of Lone Rock and just to the southeast of Madison and areas near Rock and Greene counties and even south of Dane County. But for us overall, we're still not looking at much in terms of rainfall totals. 1/10 of an inch. Some areas may see a quarter, but overall it's nothing impressive. And here's a look at our weekend for us. 81 degrees is going to be warmer, but heading into our Sunday, back to cool conditions, not looking at much in terms of rain. And our 3 things we're going to need to know is that our best chance to see the rain was really going to be today and tomorrow, but thanks to that dry slot that we're seeing, well, we're not going to be seeing much in terms of rain either. Going into next week, it is going to be all 70s. That's going to be the story for us. Plenty of sunshine and dry weather until Thursday and Friday, which is going to be making up for great weather because it's going to be the first full week of kids going back to school. And on top of it, Friday Night Lights for the high school football team comes back next Friday, and it's going to be pretty good as long as the storm doesn't come in right on time for the kickoff, Mark.
Slow the clock down.
I know. Where did summer go?
I know. All right, Julian, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now and Noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
A summer dessert that'll satisfy your sweet tooth without weighing you down? Sounds impossible, but it's not.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I am so looking forward to this.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We'll be there before you hang up the phone.
Senator Johnson's working family defined him. He and his brothers and sisters were raised by two loving parents with deep faith who taught him the value of work. As a young man, he shoveled driveways, mowed lawns, delivered papers, caddied, played Little League baseball, and baled hay on his uncle's farm. At 15, he got a dishwashing job at Walgreens Grill and became night manager before he was 16. After college, he married Jane, his wife of 45 years, and moved to Oshkosh to start a manufacturing business with Jane's brother. For the first year, the two traded 12-hour shifts. Over the next 30 years, Senator Johnson performed just about every task in that business. He installed and operated the equipment, loaded trucks, kept the books, and sold its products all over the world. His business didn't export jobs, it exported plastic. His quiet but extensive charitable work was never done for show, but simply to lend a helping hand, a value he learned from our parents. He's my brother and my best friend.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Protecting your cargo is a must, because most times, it's more than just cargo. It's the memories, friendships, and adventures that are built with it. The late nights and early mornings. The races and renovations. From hitches to ratchet straps and everything in between, we've got what you need to get your cargo there safely. Secure your passion with 11% off Tow Smart, Smart Straps, and Cargo Smart products at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
At McGann Furniture and Flooring in Baraboo, we know that hardworking people want the most value for their money. At McGann's, we've already sorted out and selected the brands that we feel offer you the most bang for your buck. From young couples to senior citizens, we offer a huge selection at prices that will fit your budget. And remember, at McGann's, we don't raise prices only to lower them later for a sale. Discover the difference at McGann Furniture and Flooring, downtown Baraboo.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I'm so looking forward to this.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We'll be there before you hang up the phone.
A summer dessert that'll satisfy your sweet tooth without weighing you down? Sounds impossible. Well, it's not. The dessert we're sharing today is refreshing and light, yet still tastes decadent. It's a cross somewhere between lemon bars and the creamiest cheesecake you've ever had. Oh, and the best part? There's no baking required. We start by combining some graham cracker crumbs, a bit of sugar, and some melted butter. Once that's mixed well, we pat it into our baking dish to create a crust. We'll put this in the fridge for a bit to firm up while we make our filling. And for that, all we do is beat together some cream cheese with sweetened condensed milk until it's smooth. Then we add in some lemon juice and some lemon zest. And to make this nice and light, we fold in some whipped topping. Now we spoon this over our crust. And here's a little tip. Gently shake the pan to help level it off before popping it back in the fridge to chill. Right before serving, top it with a bit more lemon zest and a few berries, and you're good to go. One bite, and you'll know why I think this might be summer's ultimate dessert. To get the recipe for our lemon refrigerator bites, all you need to do is visit our website. This way you'll be ready no matter who stops by this summer. And if you never reveal where you got the recipe, that's okay. It'll be our little secret. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a lemony cool way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's Julian, one final check of the forecast.
Well, our best chance to see any kind of rain will be today, tonight, and going into our Saturday as well. Outside of that, folks, it's going to be smooth sailing. Back to the 70s. That's going to hold firm, and then we're looking at dry conditions throughout the mid part of the next week till Thursday and Friday, Mark.
Looking good. Thanks, Julian. Thanks for watching, everybody. Little rain on the way. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock.